Good morning. You're watching the news right here on CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. It's a Monday morning and we're starting you off in the morning news show with all of the country's top stories and a few breaking news stories that are coming in from across the country as we speak. Our first story, developments that are taking in regarding the BBC documentary that has caused quite a bit of controversy within the country over the last few days. This is the BBC documentary that you'll remember released just a few days ago. The documentary focuses on Prime Minister Modi's leadership of Gujarat when the 2002 riots took place across the state. Now, in the days past the release of the documentary, quite a bit of controversy has been created you'll remember over the weekend, the government asking for YouTube in particular to take action, to block links, for Twitter also to block links when it comes to access to that documentary. Now, the All India Bar Association, just a few hours ago, has written to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. They're seeking a 360-degree probe into what they're calling, this is their words, they've said there's an international conspiracy angle in BBC's documentary. Now, this comes hours after you had the Law Minister, Kiran Rijiju, termed the BBC two-part documentary a malicious campaign that was launched within as well as outside of the country. Remember, for its own part, the BBC has defended the documentary. They've said that it was rigorously researched over a course of years, that there were multiple levels of fact-checking involved. That is what the BBC has had to say. However, in the days since that documentary first came out, it has garnered, as we've just said, quite a bit of controversy, reactions coming in from the central government and, as we pointed out, the opposition seemingly rallying together. You've had reactions come in right from the Congress to the TMC to both the allies in Bihar, the JDU and the RJD, all of them asking the government, in no uncertain words, what does the government have to hide? Why is the government ensuring that the video be blocked? That is what the controversy has looked like over the last few days. We'll bring you more in terms of context. My colleague Pallavi is with us right now to bring us context on the story. Pallavi, we've just told our audiences what the All India Bar Association had to say yesterday. Could you just bring our audiences context? We've walked them through what some of the key responses that have come into this documentary have looked like over the last few days. The All India Bar Association adding its voice. What should our audiences take away from this?
Well, if you remember, Toya, just a few days back, there were 302, eminent personalities belonging to various spectrum, retired bureaucrats, retired army men, retired judges as well. And all of them had made the point that, one is the timing of this kind of a documentary being made. Second, that despite the fact that the Supreme Court had already given its verdict, what is the need now to come up with this documentary which clearly tries to show the Prime Minister and the government in a very negative way? Third, of course, is many other points. There's another documentary, part 2 of also the BBC likely to come up. It talks about Kashmir, revocation of Article 370. In that letter, once again, the point was made that the Article 370 was just a temporary feature in India's constitution, and therefore nothing illegal has been done. So there is this pressure which is mounting on the BBC because till now the state broadcaster remains defiant. They say that they have done nothing wrong, and they, as a journalist, they have the rights to kind of do any kind of a documentary that they do. But there is this criticism not just from the government, but from people from the other spectrum as well. And now we see the Bar Association of India making the point that, one, it is mischievous, it affects the unity and integrity of a country. It's trying to stoke a passion which could create law and order problems. Okay,
Pallavi, more context from you here. Could you tell our audiences under what laws the government went ahead and blocked access to the documentary? And can you also tell us, as we speak, is the documentary completely blocked from access for an Indian citizen?
So there was a series of meetings which took place last week between officials of the Information Technology Ministry, the INB, as well as the MHA. And according to them, they found it violative of many norms. According to IT, it was violation of its rules where no content can be put out which could affect the law and order. And therefore, it is on those grounds, all YouTube links, those on social media handle who are using and propagating these links, all of them have been blocked. The documentary per se just cannot be blocked. But yes, access to this documentary by way of YouTube links, by way of social media platform, through the Twitter, all of them have been blocked.
Pallavi, I want to ask you, since BBC is a state broadcaster, Do we think it might be reasonable to perhaps expect India to take this on in the diplomatic sense with the UK, or will this not grow to that degree?
You know, it's very interesting when you say that, Toya, because here's the catch-22 situation. BBC is not an independent broadcaster. It's very clearly a state broadcaster, say, for example, DD or Sansad TV in our country is concerned. The question which was asked is that suppose Sansad TV had done a documentary which was derogatory in nature to some leader in UK, would the UK government have allowed that to happen? How can the UK government, despite the fact that the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on the floor of the Parliament distanced himself and also endorsed India's side by saying that we had not flouted any rules and this matter seems a closure, why is it that the UK government is not even pulling up the BBC? So, you know, there are these multiple points of view which are coming across. You're asking me whether diplomatically India is going to take a point on this. Well, they have. I mean, you know, at the MEA press conference, they already have condemned it. So as much as we can do. But there's also this issue that sources tell me in the INV ministry that before, when this documentary was actually being filmed, Toya, there are representatives of BBC who had approached the government to get their voice. The government had decided that we're not going to get embroiled in this kind of a discourse. I think that explains why India would not want to step up, diplomatically a big issue against BBC. They're letting the independent voices, the eminent personalities speak out on their behalf.
Okay, and Balvi, I just want to ask you, our audiences may remember the budget session is just about to start. Do we have any indication that the opposition might be raising this in a larger way, especially because, as you pointed out yesterday, almost every opposition party in the country has talked about the documentary so far?
I think they would, because here what they're going to do is that they're going to link it up with what they call lack of freedom of expression. I mean, if you remember, Rahul Gandhi, many of the opposition leaders, Derek O'Brien, all of them make the point that inside Parliament, none of us are allowed to speak. Mics are snatched away, mics are switched off. We are not allowed zero-hour questions. No debates and discussions are taking place. Look at the line of tweets, whether it's coming in from the Congress, whether it's coming in from Mahua Moitro of the Trinamool Congress, so all of them are making the same point, that there is an arbitrary fascist censorship which is taking place. I think the opposition parties certainly would want to take up this issue during the upcoming budget session.
Okay. Pallavi Ghosh, thank you so much for bringing us that context. For our audiences, we're going to move on now from this story to our next story.